There's no such thing as B2B or B2C. There's only P2P, person to person. If you understand that, it's literally a game changer in sales. People do anything for one reason and one reason only is because they feel like it, right? So, what I mean by that is to use this principle and apply that into your own sales calls and convert them into high ticket clients. What you need to understand is people need to have a initial intent with a problem that they're potentially wanting to speak to you about or potentially want solved. So what I'm trying to say is not all prospects are created equal. So make sure the prospects that you are getting on a call actually have the intent to potentially hire you. So what that basically means is having initially a proper system to get qualified prospects and not having any sort of scarcity with that, right? Another big thing that happens with a lot of agency owners is because it's so difficult for them to book these calls is they if let's say you get one or two potentially qualified calls, you feel obliged that you need to give it your all, like be so needy. Like you can tell humans are emotional creatures. You can tell that you need it badly. So what you need to understand is firstly have abundance of these qualified prospects. So have a system for that. And let's assume you do have that and come back to how I've personally closed multiple five-figure deals many times, right? So I've closed 5K till 30,000, right? So what I've learned is if you can understand who you're speaking to, what their pains are exactly, like be so like understanding of who they are and what exactly they are going through, like understanding the latent conditions of the market, as in how your market that you're going after thinks, how they feel, right? What are they currently going through? And if you can like explain to them in there, like better than they can explain what they're going through, you will make them feel like they want to work with you, right? And what you need to understand is what is the thing that they want. So the number one thing we need to understand is with sales, you need to just listen, right? So at the end, when they've told you all their intent, like what is actually happening, what their pain is, where they'd actually like to go, only then you can tell them, hey, I can be the gap, the bridge that can help you get from what you told me, like their words, repeating their words, to pleasure, where they actually want to go. What a lot of people think, and especially agency owners, is that their the services that they're offering is gonna help sell to that person because they're an agency, they sell services and all that stuff. Look, it's not true. People buy for only one reason, is because they feel like it, and the way you're gonna make them feel like it is because you're gonna ask them what is it that you are going through, the pain, lack of leads, whatever it is, whoever you work with, right? And where they'd actually like to be. Get a definite number. Like what is the thing, right? And then what you'd say is at the end, hey, John, you told me that you're going through this, and that, and your goal is to have this many leads, 20 leads or 50 leads or whatever it is, right? So then you can grow your business exponentially and get their core motive, the why, like again, the emotions attached with the desired goal, right? And then you can say, okay, so once they're bought in emotionally, that is when they can make the decision, okay, now tell me logistically how you're going to do that for me. But before that, you have to understand, shush, and listen. Ask them the right questions, right? On what is it that you actually want, right? What you think they want is not what they actually want, right? So again, understand their pain and where they would like to get to, right? Understand the gap. Is there a gap? Do they need help? Like, can they do themselves? If they say no, then clearly, like, you can use that to objection handle, right? So, another thing, when you are actually pitching like your services, it needs to be maximum 1 minute, right? Literally, maximum 1 minute, and tell them exactly how you're going to get them from point A to point B. Point A being their pain, and point B where they'd actually like to get to. Nothing more. You do not need to speak, right? They should be speaking most of the time. I'm sure you know this, right? But it's about actually applying it. And the last thing I want to leave you with is you need to have a clear structure in front of you that you're following. Not a script, a structure. But I'm very against scripts because what it does is like not every prospect is going to say the same things. Like you need to have a structure. Okay, at this point I should be getting this pain. I could potentially, to get more pain, I could ask them how long have they been there, like what have they tried, all that stuff, right? A structure, rough structure, not questions that you're going to follow, because then it seems robotic, and it's happened a lot of times. So you need to have a structure that you're following, and once that structure works, do not change it whatsoever. So that is a system. That is a system that now you know works like a machine, right? So with any system, it's inputs, processes, and outputs. So you know the sales system that you have works. Now, what you can do is then it allows you to replace yourself and put a closer in, right? But if you're using your skills or whatever you feel like is good at the moment, you will never actually have a proper system. And remember, success is systems. So these were just kind of the rough points. I always keep in mind, like I always have a system in front of me. Even at this point, like I have a rough guideline, because well, us as humans, sometimes we're emotional. This happens, that happens. But when you have it in front of you, like you check off mentally each point. Okay, I've got their pain, blah blah blah, right? And then that gives you the predictability. Okay, I know that if I use this system, this syntax, I will close this many, rather than relying on you acting in that moment, or like that anxiety that it gives you. Will I be able to perform? It takes away all of that, right? So hopefully this helps. And if this helped, just subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments if you do have any questions.